Welcome to Boy Time Podcast. We're gonna get litty time, yeah. Oh, it's your Boy Time Podcast. Coming in with the slam dunk of a theme song.
Hi ho ho, it's me, Anya Taylor-Joy, back at it again with a new episode of the Boy Time Podcast. And as always, I'm joined by Just Babby.
Yep.
We had Paul up and cancel on us, and we decided to be like Freddie Mercury and say that the show must go on. So
It's going to be really different without him here.
it's gonna be crazy. So it's just the two of us today. But that's not going to stop us from having a slam dunk episode, because we actually have a lot to get to. Not a whole lot of news per se, but a fair amount of discussion. We got Twin Peaks. We finally finished the core series. That is the second season. It took us about a month, but we did it. So we got that to talk about. We got the new Edgar Wright movie last night in Soho. I saw that, and I do have some thoughts and opinions on it. So I will be doing a quick little rundown review of that thing. And then, Babby inspired me last week when we were talking about gaming stuff. And I went and I think I finished Undertale, although I'm not entirely sure if I did. So,
Cool.
yeah.
There's like a million endings, I think. So
Yeah. So I guess we'll just talk about that in the gaming section. Because I don't think I have any other gaming things to talk about. There's gaming news, but not any other, like last week where we talked about what we were playing. I think that's the only new thing. But we'll just get started off with the gaming news. We had a little bit of a PlayStation State of Play. This one was kind of a mini one. I think they said beforehand that this was going to be all indie titles, which means that everyone immediately speculated that we were going to be getting God of War gameplay and Wolverine gameplay and Spider-Man 2 gameplay, and everybody was thoroughly and utterly disappointed because it was a very small showcase. So,
FNAF.
there was FNAF. That was one of them. Not one that I wrote down, but, FNAF is there. And I honestly, I don't really care.
Oh, I couldn't care less.
Yeah. I guess this could have been.
Title that I saw in there.
There was some good stuff. 3 good things, in fact. The first thing that I noticed, Bug Snacks getting free DLC. It's early 2022. They're calling it Big Snacks. If you see what they did there.
That's good.
Yeah. So it's apparently free. Just going to be a free update. And then it kind of looks like Pokemon like Mega Evolutions or something, where it's like the Bug Snacks get bigger and they like look different. I don't really know what else is going on. But yeah, that was pretty cool.
Hats on them.
They did put hats on them. And it looked like you could like build the town, which I haven't played enough Bug Snacks to know if that's something that you could do in a real game. But yeah, that is a thing. And so that's like super exciting. That's probably the best thing we'll ever talk about ever, honestly. The second little bit that I thought was interesting is that Death's Door, which is that Devolver digital game. I don't know the developer, so sorry. But it's that like kind of isometric Zelda-esque thing where you play as a crow. I played it. I gave it a very good review. It is very good. And it is coming to PlayStation 4 and 5 on November 23rd. So less than a month away, gamers, if you want to play a very solid top-down adventure game. I would recommend that. And then I think the biggest showcase is they talked about Little Devil Inside. And that game I'm very excited for. I don't know if you remember that game. That was I think it was like E3 2019, where there was like an adventurer guy, and then there was like an old guy in a bathtub. I don't really know how to describe it. I think if you like looked it up, you would recognize it, because I think Donkey used it in his E3 video, and I don't know, it just has a very memorable style, kind of like Tim Burton-y, kind of a little bit, but not as scary. But yeah, they kind of delved into what the gameplay is going to be like, because I don't think we got that from the trailer first off, and I'm even more excited for it. I think it looks great. Unfortunately, no release window or anything, but you know, good job.
I think that was. Oh yeah, I do remember this now.
Yeah.
That was the best game that I saw.
Yes, I think that there's some.
I think I slept through the entire thing until this. I'm like, oh, this looks fun.
Yeah, I don't even think I watched the PlayStation thing with audio for most part. Yeah, until I saw that show up. I'm like, oh.
On the other monitor, I'm like, oh, okay, this looks like an actual game.
Yes, that is the vibes I was getting from this showcase. But yeah, this looks very nice. I don't know who's making it. So can't give credit where credit is due, but that's one that I'm for sure going to be playing when that comes out. Looks interesting, and completely new. So isn't that what we all want? You know?
I suppose.
Yeah. But that's all the stuff from that PlayStation showcase. But that's not to say that there isn't more gaming news, because there is. Two very small things, but thought I'd bring them up. Sony, I guess this is kind of piggybacking off the PlayStation showcase. They announced that they were going to be releasing a new moniker specifically for their PC porting division, just PlayStation PC. So
what a great rebrand.
It's a great rebrand. Yeah. Frankly, I don't really know why they did this, but it's, I guess, a good sign that they're going to keep putting stuff on PC, which, we were talking last week, they're adding God of War. I know everybody and their dad is hoping for Bloodborne, and, I hope Bloodborne eventually comes to the PC, but I'm not, dying.
For Last of Us on the PC.
That would be cool, too. I don't know how dedicated they are to doing 1-to-1 on PC and console. Like Xbox is doing 1-to-1 pretty much with all their new stuff, but PlayStation seems to be a little bit, they dawdle on it a little bit. They wait like a year or two, and then they'll release like a half-baked port. So who knows? But it's just nice to see them kind of, laying the framework for releasing more stuff on PC. So I guess good job, Sony. And the other little bit of gaming news is that Zuck actually announced that San Andreas is coming out on VR and Quest in a surprise twist that I don't think anyone saw coming. That Facebook event was a thing, and then in the middle of it, he was like, we're going to be
I really wish it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, I do too.
It scared me a little bit too much, I think.
We were talking about that like a couple days before, where I was like, we hope that the Facebook rebrands into like some like Black Mirror, Mr. Robot.
Yeah, I needed like some Mr. Robot type rebrand, and we got it.
And we got it.
I regret asking for it now because it's terrifying.
Meta. That, yeah. He should have just called it Deus and just like really,
just full
on, yeah. That would have been funny. But, totalitarian overlordness aside, we're going to be able to see is it Pop? No, it's Big Smoke.
Big Smoke.
I haven't played that game. But we're going to be able to play him, see him in VR, which is going to look really weird.
Yeah, with that art style, it's going to be really disturbing.
I don't even know. Like playing GTA just on the flat monitor in first person is a little weird. Imagine doing
Yeah.
that in VR though. In PlayStation 2 graphics. That's awesome. And that is all the gaming news we had. Well, actually, that's not true. We actually have Who Asked for This gaming news.
Let's go.
Yeah. I also put Facebook is now meta in Who Asked for This, but we already kind of talked about that. But there's a little bit of a game that is coming out in 2022 that is based off A Quiet Place. I don't know. I don't know who asked for this, frankly.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
Just gonna have no audio. I think. I don't know what do you do.
It's Dead by Daylight with like no audio.
Yeah, I don't know if some studio saw that like the Friday the 13th game and the Evil Dead game were like a thing, and they're like, "Well, we own
Okay,
A
that
Quiet
could actually
Place."
be fun if it's Friday the 13th, because the best part of that game was the proximity chat.
Yeah.
Imagine if you had to keep the other randos quiet. That would be fun.
That's fun. That's a good idea.
That's just babysitting the game.
Yeah, I don't know how this is gonna work.
Although a game like that already exists now that I think of it.
What do you do?
I forgot what the name of it is, but it's kind of like Dead by Daylight, but like you need to stay quiet and your voice comes and like in the map because you can like step on twigs and stuff because the monster or whatever only has like echolocation.
Oh.
So that's been done already.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know what or who's making it or what's going on, but it was announced that there's a Quiet Place video game coming out next year. With no footage or anything. It was just announced and it's coming out. So it's probably not going to be great.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm only going to like it if John Krasinski is in it.
Yeah, if he's not the face of the game, then I don't want it.
Yeah, and I want to make sure that he can, like, the game can go third person for a second and he can look at the camera like he did in The Office. Yeah. That would be so funny.
It would be funny.
It would just be hilarious. But speaking of movies, we have some movie news. Should we talk about Undertale while we're still kind of on gaming?
That'd probably fit a little more.
Okay, never mind. I hate movies.
I hate movies. But I love Undertale.
I love Undertale. I guess a little bit of a preface. I played about half of the game a couple months ago, and then I got Game Pass again, and then I decided to finish it. I didn't realize how close I was. I thought that I barely made a dent into it, because I think when I, stopped playing it, I like just got past the papyrus part. But that's like about halfway, because you just have the big robot, and then I guess spoilers for Undertale, even though it's like 5 years old.
It's like 6 years old.
6 years old. Yeah, you just have the robot and then the Asgore and the flower.
Goat father.
The goat father. Which I didn't know. I think I finished it. I'm not sure though. So I beat the goat dad. And then the flower kills him. Well, I spared the goat dad, and then the flower killed him.
Okay.
Because I was doing the pacifist run. So I'm a good boy. And, the game shut off, and so I'm like, I'll just open it again. That does the thing, and you have to fight Flowey, which I actually did on my first try, so that's, like, pretty awesome.
Impressive.
Yeah. And then I spared him, and then it was like, you should open your save file, because you need to be nicer to Undyne. And I'm like, okay. So then I opened the save file, and then, like, I don't know what I was supposed to do, but I just went back in the same room where Goat Dad was, and then it just started the Goat Dad fight again. I'm like, I don't think this is supposed to be happening. And then I died, and I was like, whatever, I have to do this. That was, like, right before I hopped on to watch Twin Peaks and do this podcast. So I don't know if I finished it. I think I did, because, like, I'm pretty sure Flowey's the last boss, and that seemed like the final
I don't remember
boss.
if there's anything afterwards.
I don't remember either.
but I also haven't looked or played that game in many moons. So I should probably play it again.
It's
Well, I
it's
have
pretty
Pass.
short. I think it's probably only
Yeah.
like 5 hours, if
I think
that.
the thing with it is there's so many different like endings and crap.
Yeah, I'm
That
thinking of
makes it
replaying
replay.
it and killing everything.
Yeah, I just don't like doing that in Undertale because they make you feel bad for it.
I'm sure they do.
Like Fallout and all that, I'm like, yep, I can just kill everybody because I don't care. But
Yeah.
Undertale makes you feel like a worthless human when you do it. So
Yeah, I think that's like probably the best part about the game is the character writing.
yes.
It really gets you attached to everybody, even the
Spoiler
idiot
alert, it's
nerd.
not even as good as what came next. So
Yeah, I know. I will probably pick up Deltarune. Do you just have to like get it on the website or is it on Steam or something?
no, it's on Steam. It's like it's listed as a demo, but it's just the free first 2 chapters.
Okay. Yeah, I'll have to play that.
Yeah.
Is it
'Cause
like Undertale, like combat
it's
wise?
same combat and everything,
Okay.
but graphics are so much better, the music's better, the characters are better.
Okay.
It's just better Undertale.
That would make sense, yeah.
And it doesn't make you hate yourself yet.
Yet.
I guess I won't say that, but it's going to be worse, I think, once it goes forward.
Yeah, you were saying that. I was like, okay, I don't know. Undertale gets pretty.
It does,
Sad.
but I don't know. As good as the characters are and as likable as every single character is in that game, I'm scared.
Yeah, they're probably gonna do
They,
some.
they put one little taste of like what could happen if you do something like evil, and I think it was too much already. So
All right.
the good thing is you don't have to worry about it because you have to do something very specific for it to happen.
Okay.
So I think he just teased a little bit.
I'll have to give that a shot.
That's why I'm dreading to do like a genocide thing in Undertale, where I just like kill everybody. But maybe I'll do that as I play it again.
Yeah, I might do that. I'll probably play Deltarune first though.
Yeah, that game's like that's just serotonin. So
Okay. Well, that's probably
don't worry
good.
about that. Yeah.
We could use some serotonin right about now.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, very nice. I wouldn't say anything that hasn't already been said by a whole lot of other middle-aged white men. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's just nice. You know, if you haven't played it by now, we already spoiled it for you, but
And if you haven't played it, you probably watched it somewhere on
Yeah.
YouTube.com, as it was the single biggest thing in 2015. So
it sure was. I bet you know who Sans Undertale is.
yeah, kind of hard not to at this point.
Yeah. I'm still hoping that he's in Smash Brothers. I know that Sakurai said that he's done, but I really want Sans in
I
Smash.
hope so. Isn't he like a freaking? Isn't he in the game?
Yeah, he's a Mii fighter
He's like-
costume.
Yeah, Mii Fighter.
That's where all the most wanted characters go to die.
Yeah, it's so stupid.
Because when Sora was announced, Doomslayer was the Mii fighter costume, and it's like,
Yeah,
oof,
it's so weird.
that is
Because I
rough.
think the Deltarune, like Chapter 2, got announced on the freaking Nintendo Direct.
Yeah,
So
it did.
I thought they'd be like in good enough cahoots where it'd be like, yeah, just give them a character.
Yeah, Smash Brothers, they tend to give the stupidest characters actual fighters, and then they get like the
have
most
seen
wanted
that.
people like Mii fighters or assist trophies. Because Waluigi is an assist trophy, Shovel Knight is an assist trophy. I think Rayman is just like a trophy in the game that you can't really see. So it's just like they really just like throwing the dirt in everybody's eyes and then adding an
Yeah.
anime character that nobody cares about.
Yikes.
But they're done, supposedly. I don't know. Sakurai said he's done. I don't know if that means with Smash as a series.
He's just done.
He might be, because he's been there since Smash 1 on the N64. So that it would not surprise me if he retired. But I don't know what they're going to do, because he's really the lifeblood of that game, and it probably won't be good without him in it. So, after that dour note, let's talk about some movie news. We got the first trailer for Pixar's Lightyear movie. that is coming out June 2022. Have you seen this trailer?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. I thought that the visuals were very nice. They gave Buzz Lightyear the Doom Guy treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the only thing I could see when I saw the Buzz Lightyear suit, is that it looked like the Doom Guy, like Doom Eternal suit. And I'm like, okay, that was a little weird. I don't know. I don't know how to feel that it isn't Tim Allen, but it doesn't really look like Buzz Lightyear anyways, so I think it'll be okay.
I don't think they wanted to touch Tim Allen with a 10-foot pole anymore, so.
Yeah, I guess. But he was saying, anti-evolution stuff when they were making Toy Story 4.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. I don't know. That whole time I was watching that, it kind of made me want like a Pixar Western that like it was woody and it like was like gritty, but I don't know if they would ever do that.
I don't know. It'd make me more interested than a Buzz Lightyear show. Or
Yeah.
movie,
I know this is interesting though, because I don't think. Well, actually, I was about to say they haven't done a sci-fi. That's Wall-E. So, they have done a sci-fi.
I would
before.
like another Wall-E.
I wouldn't.
Ish type movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be Wall-E, just something in that realm.
They've kind of. There was an era in like the late 2000s where I think Pixar really hit their stride, from like Incredibles to like Up maybe, because then you got like Cars 2 and stuff, and like Brave, and not as good as like Ratatouille, Up, Wall-E, Incredibles. I think that's it. Finding Nemo, I guess that was 2003, 2002. But suffice to say, Pixar was only good when we were kids, and frankly, I hate Soul.
I hate everything new.
Yep.
I am stuck in the past.
I say that, but I think Coco is probably one of my favorite Pixar movies, and Soul's good, but I think it's too short, which you'll never hear me say about a movie. But
Anything.
yeah, it is too short. I don't know. I love you, Pete Doctor, but I think that might be the worst Pete Doctor movie.
Mr. Doctor.
Mr. Doctor. Well, I mean, he made Monsters, Inc., Up, Inside Out, and Soul. And I think all of those are great, but Soul's probably my least favorite out of those four. So, yeah. Back to Buzz Lightyear, though. I think that the visuals were very nice. I was getting some, like, Soul shading vibes, because I remember seeing the trailer for Soul, the first one. I was, like, blown away by how it looked. And the human world in Soul is phenomenal. It's probably the best-looking movie I've ever seen. Or best-looking animated movie, I guess I should say. But I was kind of getting those vibes from Lightyear. And I think there's some potential to do some cool lighting stuff in sci-fi stuff. We've seen that done a lot. And if anyone knows lighting, especially in this medium, it's Pixar. So there's some potential here for some truly beautiful cinematography and stuff like that. But we'll just have to see. I do like Chris Evans. I don't know. He didn't really talk in the trailer, and maybe they did that on purpose. But yeah, I guess we'll see when that comes out next June. Which I don't see a whole lot of people talking about that it's coming out in June, but the poster says 06/22. So, I mean, come on, that's like
Too much to read.
Everyone says it's coming out in the summer, and it's like, yeah, that's technically true, because I think the trailer says summer 2022, but the poster that they released says 06/22. So everyone's just been saying it's coming out in the summer, which is partially right, yeah. But there's a more accurate one out there. Seeing Red, I'm pretty sure is still coming out this holiday season sometime. They released one trailer for it like a while ago. Haven't seen anything since. So I'm going to call it right now. Seeing Red is going to be delayed sometime between this podcast and the next podcast. Actually, I don't know if Disney does that.
We'll see. But
Yeah, we'll see.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I'm just going to throw it out there, and then if I'm wrong, we can add it to the 2 times we've been wrong about a delay against the thousands of times we've been right about
Yeah, our ratio
things.
is pretty good.
Yeah. So, it's like a drop in the bucket.
Yeah.
But speaking of Disney, we got some news that both the Tobey Maguire and the Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies are getting released in Ultra HD 4K box sets. And those are
go.
Yeah, I'm excited for the Tobey Maguire ones.
Yes.
Yes.
I don't care about Andrew Garfield, but yes.
I like Andrew Garfield. I don't like his
I
Spider-Man.
didn't like those movies.
No. Those movies are bad. But I do like Andrew Garfield. He seems to be a fine enough actor and human being.
Yes.
So
I feel like when you fell in the Halloween store and
BoJack.
good performance.
He seems to be like kind of an activist for LGBT stuff. So, good on you,
I
Andrew
don't know
Garfield.
if I've even seen anything other than the Spider-Mans that he's been in, so I have no clue.
No, there's no way you've seen Hacksaw Ridge.
No.
That's the only other thing I've seen him in. I think he does a lot of Broadway stuff now. Like he just won a Tony a couple years ago.
That would be why.
Yeah. But he still does stuff. I just don't think he's as much in the spotlight as he was when he was Spider-Man. But suffice to say, both of those box sets are getting released on November 8th. So about a week away from us recording this. Probably about 2 days away from this podcast going up, knowing that I always forget to edit these on time. So
True.
I'll try not to do that again, but who knows? But I'll probably pick up the Tobey Maguire one, depending on how much it
I'll
is.
just watch it whenever I'm in the area.
Sure, yeah, we can
I'll
do
just leech it off.
we can do a Spider-Man marathon. We can even watch Spider-Man 3, the most entertaining one.
Let's go.
I don't think I've seen Spider-Man 3 since like the late 2000s. Like I was a kid when I saw the Spider-Man 3. I don't think I've seen it since.
I've only seen it once, so
Yeah, I think I have too. And I've only seen the original Spider-Man ones too. I've seen
okay.
Spider-Man 2. I think the first time I saw Spider-Man 2, I saw it with you. Because I originally skipped that one for some reason because I was a stupid kid. I was
The best.
I was a stupid kid, I said. I don't know. I saw the first one. I think I was watching it with my aunt. And my aunt, we watched the first one. And then the next time I came over, I saw Spider-Man 3. And I was like, whoa, the black suit. Because I was a big fan of the black suit. And I'm still a fan of the black suit. It's pretty cool. And she was like, we want to see Spider-Man 3? I was like, yeah. So then we watched Spider-Man 3. So then I never seen Spider-Man 2, not knowing that it's one of the best
It's like
superhero
the worst
movies.
decision of your life, I think.
I did see it eventually.
Yeah, but
It took a long time. I think I was up in Wisconsin when we watched it the first time. Worst mistake of my life. And then I did see it again when I was in Savannah. One of my roommates had it, and I was like, can I watch this when you're at class? He was like, I don't care. So then I did. So I've seen it twice. Spider-Man 2 I've seen twice. That is funny. So I'll just go ahead and pick it up on November 8th. I've seen some people say that this means that Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are confirmed for the new Spider-Man movie. Kevin Feige straight up said, a couple days ago, he said, don't get your hopes up for Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire. So,
full cope.
yeah. I mean, come on. We got Willem Dafoe and Alfred Molina back as their Spider-Man villains. Like, what more do you want? Do you want Jamie Foxx? Because he's there too, unfortunately. Because, let's be honest, Jamie Foxx is a very hit or miss. But when he hits, he hits. Because let's not forget Django or Baby Driver.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
But he was also Electro in The Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is by far the worst
I don't count that.
supervillain performance,
I
maybe
don't
of
count
all
that.
time.
I wiped it from my memory. Doesn't exist.
Jamie Foxx takes a lot of weirdo roles. Um, he for every Django Unchained, there is a Sleepless, where it's just like a Z-list action movie, like something that you'd see like Bruce Willis in nowadays, or like I about I almost said Daniel Day-Lewis. That's not who I want to compare him to. But you know what I'm talking about. So he's not very selective. I guess Nick Cage is kind of a nice comparison, but I think Jamie Foxx is better than Nick Cage.
Jamie Foxx's highs are very high.
His highs are very high. Nick Cage's highs are Raising Arizona. And I heard Pig was good.
Yeah, I
I
think
never-
Pig was the most recent.
I have not seen Pig. By the time I finally got around to like hearing stuff about it, it was out of the theater. But it was like, so I was a little too late. I might see it eventually. I am kind of a sleeper Nick Cage fan, kind of a love and hate relationship. He keeps hitting me with bad movies, but I keep crawling back. Except Spider-Verse. He was pretty good in Spider-Verse for like the 6 lines they gave him. But
True.
yeah. And then there's one little bit of movie news, and this will actually transition great into the Last Night in Soho discussion. But Edgar Wright's documentary, The Sparks Brothers, is now on American Netflix. So, if you are interested in, I guess, pop music history, this is a good one to watch. I would say it's probably my least favorite Edgar Wright movie, but I mean, it's so different than every other Edgar Wright movie. And also, I don't really care about the Sparks. But, you know, if you're a big Sparks fan, or if you're into the 80s synth pop, Euro pop scene, it's probably right up your alley. And it is kind of cool to see a whole lot of like modern musicians be like, oh yeah, I credit almost everything I make to the Sparks and stuff like that. And it's a pretty good in-depth analysis of their whole entire career. So it's quality entertainment and a good archive of their career, but it wasn't really for me. But make that decision for yourself, because now it's on Netflix, and I don't think it's that long. So, I don't know, have it on in the background while you mow your lawn or something. I don't care. But let's talk about a movie that I actually did like, and that is Last Night in Soho, the new Edgar Wright flick. Although it's a little bit different than most Edgar Wright flicks, because I believe it isn't completely written by him. He wrote it with someone else. It's, why isn't it showing up? Is it because I'm a coward? Yes, it is Christy Wilson Cairns. I don't know. I'm probably butchering that, but she's Scottish, so don't hate me. But this movie is vastly different than every other Edgar Wright film. Most Edgar Wright movies, even movies like Baby Driver, which aren't outright comedies, there's a little bit of lightheartedness to it. There's like moments with Baby and his, I guess, adopted dad, where it's like there's a little bit of humanity there. There's not a whole lot here. It is very sad and very dark. But I would view it as almost a perfect companion piece to Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which is a very weird comparison, but I think it makes a lot of sense.
Makes sense to me as someone who hasn't watched the film yet.
Okay. I'll give a brief plot synopsis without any spoilers, because I would recommend it. But
I'm going to watch it, just haven't you?
yeah. So I won't spoil anything, but I'll just like give a general idea of what's going on. Um, so basically, it follows I need to look up this chick's name, but she played the Jew in Jojo Rabbit. Um, Thomasin McKenzie. So it follows her, and she's from this small town, or I guess a small village, I guess technically in England. But she's from the small village, and she gets accepted to go to this, kind of prestigious fashion college in London. That's in Soho. Oh.
I get it.
Yeah, so yeah, you're starting to catch on to what's going on. But it's kind of established early on that she's, I don't know, schizophrenic, or at least sees visions of people that aren't there. I don't really know. I'm trying to walk around this as much as possible. But she goes to school, and basically it bubbles down to like she'll go to sleep, and whenever she's asleep, she kind of is transported to Soho in the 60s, which, as someone who is not familiar with London history, I guess I would describe it to like LA in the 60s. It's like glamorous, and there's, these kind of like nightclubs where people will go, and I guess it's more like, like New York in the 20s almost, where there's like jazz clubs and people are singing.
Prohibition.
No, not prohibition. People drink. But yeah, I don't really know how I can compare this to Once Upon a Time without spoiling it. But I think in summation, I think I would say, if Once Upon a Time takes kind of a romantic look at Hollywood in the 60s, Last Night in Soho takes the exact opposite look at Soho in the 60s.
I
So
don't know if I found Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as like a overtly positive view of it.
it's not like overtly, but Tarantino absolutely loves old Hollywood.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of like, I don't even know how I would describe it as, it's not like, oh, I yearn to be in the
No, it's kinda
1960s, but
like off-putting.
yeah. But I think it's just like the attention to detail and how it almost
Yeah.
like looks pretty. Like it's a pretty like disturbing movie if you like boil it down to what it's really about. But like the way it's shot and how everything is portrayed as being like really shiny, like all
Maybe
the
that's why,
cars are
because
like,
I kind of like had the feeling of what it was going towards the whole time.
yeah.
So everything kind of like looked pretty, and I'm like, this isn't right.
Yeah. I think that's just good filmmaking. It's
Yeah.
like hiding this like dark, shadowy underbelly under the glitz and glamour of 60s Hollywood.
That's why the movie's so good.
That's why the movie's so good. I know some people don't like it. Those people are cowards. Whoa, okay. And this one starts out like that. So, it kind of starts off, and like as she's like entering this world, she's kind of sucked up in this like, oh, I love this like. Well, first of all, she like loves the 60s. Her parents die at like a very young age, and this is all stuff that's established in the very beginning. So her parents are dead. She lives with her grandma. Her grandma plays these old records that she grew up with in the 60s. And so the main character is like naturally kind of super into the 60s. So when she's transported to the 60s, she's like, oh, this is great. Like if I like could choose an era to live in, it would be London in the 60s. And she's kind of swept up in the fashion and the like nightclub scene. And since she's a fashion designer, she's taking those ideas and she's like turning those ideas into dresses and all these new outfits that she's making. And then there's a turn, and we start seeing the real London in the 60s, and everything gets super scary and dark. Despite this being like a horror movie, I think I would describe it as a horror movie, but there's there's no like jump scares or
It's
anything
not
really
like
like
a
that.
horror movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it isn't for like cheap thrills. It's like
Right.
the general feel of like the dread, and like she starts having the visions of these like the men that she encounters in the 60s like coming up to her in real life, and like that moment, like the feeling of like, oh, I have no idea when these people are going to show up again, like stuff like that. It is generally genuinely terrifying, and honestly pretty g dang like triggering if you've had like experience with specifically sexual assault. There's a lot of stuff like that in this movie. I would not recommend this movie to anyone who has been through that, but it is very, very good. I've seen some people rank this as their best Edgar Wright movie. I think I would disagree with that.
Possible.
I would disagree with that for one main reason is that it doesn't feel like an Edgar Wright movie.
It
I-
didn't ever look like an Edgar Wright movie, even through the trailers or anything.
Yeah, and that I was kind of disappointed by that, because Edgar Wright is one of my favorite directors. I think he might be my favorite director. Even something like Scott Pilgrim, which is my least favorite actual movie, not including the
Still
documentary,
bangs.
still bangs, and there's a style to it. It's a very distinctive Edgar Wright style of like fast cuts and people like walking in front of the camera to transition scenes. That like stuff is constantly moving, and like that's why I love his stuff so much. There's almost none of that in this movie. The cinematography is very kind of dry. That's not to say that it doesn't look beautiful, because there is some really great lighting and visual choices that are made in this movie, but almost none of the Edgar Wright motifs and signatures that I've come to like really enjoy out of his stuff is there. This feels like a movie that anyone could have made, which I don't think I could say about any of his other movies. But like I could see like Scorsese making this, or even like I could see Kubrick like really like this is a Kubrick movie that Edgar Wright made. So that would be like my only like negative about it, but because of that, like I really knocked it down in my Edgar Wright list. I think I did. I think I put it in between The World's End and Baby Driver. So, got Sparks Brothers, Scott Pilgrim, The World's End, Last Night in Soho, Baby Driver, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. So, it's about right in the middle. But I think there was some serious potential here, just that stylistically it kind of fell flat. So, a little bit disappointing, but on that end. But I would still highly, highly recommend it. It's a very good movie. I would be surprised if it didn't get nominated for any Oscar-y type stuff, but also like Wes Anderson's movies coming out. I think David Fincher's coming out with something this year. Scorsese, I don't think his thing is coming out. I think it's next year. So we're safe on that front. But Scorsese never wins Oscars anyways, so that's okay. So I think that this probably deserves to be nominated for Best Picture, but it will probably go to some stupid bullshit like Nomadland again. So, Hot take. I've never met anyone who liked Nomadland, so I don't know how much of a hot take that is.
Then they do not exist.
They do not exist. I fully think that people who like Nomadland do not exist. I have seen some people on Twitter that say if you don't like Nomadland, then you're not a feminist. And as someone, I don't think I would. I guess in Dave Chappelle's terms, I would identify as a feminist, as just someone who, advocates for equal rights between men and women. That is the case for me. That's not, Nomadland is not a feminist movie. And if you try to claim it is, then you're just tacking something on to a movie that really didn't talk about that at all. It's about an old lady who turns down help at every single opportunity she's given so that she can work at Amazon and live in a tent in the Arizona desert. And it is the most boring thing I've ever seen. Frances McDormand is great in it because she's Frances McDormand, but yeah, sorry, Chloe Zhao. I did not like your movie. But I guess it was good that a movie that was made by an Asian woman was nominated. Because I guess that was the first time. And, I guess better late than never. But whatever. That's enough about Nomadland. I think that's it for movie stuff. Do you want to talk about Twin Peaks or music stuff?
Can do Twin Peaks. Music's like 5 minutes, maybe.
Okay. Then let's talk about Twin Peaks. The original run of the show. We have not seen Fire Walk with Me or The Return. We have just seen the show as it originally aired from 1990 to 1991. What did you think?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah?
Big fan.
You're a big fan?
I would say.
Okay.
It kept me engaged the whole time. Felt like a jolly old TV show. Not like... It wasn't anything like from the 2010s before TV became this huge budget, masterclass of directing and crap.
Yes.
Because TV didn't used to be that.
No, it was definitely a step in the right direction.
Yeah. So I have to judge it as in context and of the time as possible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think a lot of the characters grew on me. I found a lot of them annoying in season 1, but I think just through good writing, they became likable.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of different character stories, paths, subplots, going all over the place. I don't think any of them felt too jarring. They were all pretty smooth. The show would jerk you around a lot.
Yes.
But that one is David Lynch, and two, TV in the 90s, where it's like, okay, you have this time slot, make something out of it, which I didn't mind. I liked how cheesy it was. I think it added to it.
They really laid it on thick.
If the show was made in the 2010s, it would be incredibly gritty and ethically questionable.
What, with all the high schoolers?
Yes.
Yes.
But they are portrayed by 20-somethings in this show, at least 20-somethings.
Yeah, maybe 30-somethings.
And all the people that are supposedly 35 are like played by like 50-year-old actors, so it's really weird.
Yeah. I think that was like a thing, though. Like,
I think that was standard, yeah.
Yeah.
Because nowadays you have Stranger Things where it's actual kids.
But even in like the ooze and stuff, like high schoolers and like Disney movies were played by
Drake and Josh was a thing, and those guys were like 20-somethings.
Yeah, they didn't look like it, but yeah.
No. But yeah, even with iCarly and stuff, it was just extreme in this case.
Yes.
I'm glad it was, because it makes it a lot easier to watch.
Yeah, if it was an actual 17-year-old girl falling for FBI agent Dale Cooper, I would have been uncomfortable.
Then it'd be a little weird.
Yes, but they didn't
it's still a little weird, just given that we do know their ages. But
yes.
I mean, it's fine, whatever.
Yeah.
It didn't seem too awkward since everybody banged everybody in this show. There were no exceptions to any character.
Yeah, everybody's cheating on everybody, and everybody's banging everybody immediately.
Yes.
Yes.
But, I mean, it all makes sense. It's a very convoluted show.
Yes.
That was never really about the death of Laura Palmer, which I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
It was a good lead-in to the real show.
Mm-hmm.
But I think David Lynch does a couple things very well.
Lay it on me.
First of all, surrealism. He's
Yes.
king. Love it.
Yeah.
Absolutely glued to the screen every time he
Every.
does his weirdo stuff.
Yeah.
Whenever they let him just go nuts, so I'm there for it.
Yeah.
But I love his subplots and his reasons for doing things, and like the motives between everything. I thought that was like really compelling, even though it is very convoluted and messy and all over the place. But I don't know, it's charming in a weird way.
Yeah.
But I guess that's what surrealism is. So hats off to him, I guess.
Yeah. I was struck when like we first started the second season because it's like pretty much back to back to back David Lynch doing weirdo stuff, extended scenes of like giants showing up and old guys winking and giving thumbs up when Dale Cooper is shot on the floor. I guess spoilers for Twin Peaks, this 30-year-old show. But I was like, okay, David Lynch is going to have a way like more impact and stuff, which he really didn't. Like it showed up like every now and then in season 2 after that.
I mean, he's like, yeah.
Yeah. But the last like 10 minutes of the last episode, that's straight Lynch. Like that's like if you want to know like if you want just like an hour and a half concentrated of that, watch Eraserhead. And if you want like a balance of that and a normal movie, watch Mulholland Drive. That's the best way I can compare those. Because Eraserhead got a little bit too much for me. Because it's just an hour and a half of crazy Black Lodge stuff. But, you know, if that's your thing, go ahead. But yeah, that was my favorite part of the show, was whenever David Lynch would go off.
That's
He
great.
would yell really loud. Yeah. I think that was probably the best episode, was the last one. And I think the last episode of the Laura Palmer arc, where Leland was going off and doing weirdo stuff, that was pretty cool too.
Yeah, I did like that.
But I would say that I agree with you for the most part. I didn't really like the corniness. I think that did kind of take away from it a little bit. I did not care about any of the like romance stuff for the most part. I like Pete, and I like whenever Pete was in love with his wife, but his wife Pete is an evil woman, and I hate her. So yeah, but Pete's my favorite. I love him so much. I guess
I didn't care too much for the romances either, but I think love and death being the two battles of the show was kind of important.
Yeah,
I didn't care about like the physical relationships themselves, but I think just the thought of it.
Yeah, as an idea, I think it would. It would have worked better, I think, if this show wasn't the framework for so many others and like could have just existed now, because like Donna and James, I could not care less.
Oh, I literally did not care about James a single second throughout the entire series. James was like the only character I didn't care about.
Yeah, I was glad when he left. And I did not care about his subplot in the mansion off. Like, what even was that? Was like,
I don't know.
Was there like a casting conflict where he wasn't able to come on set during the same time? So they're like, oh, send him on a motorcycle to the other side of the realm, and then we'll just have people fast travel to that city whenever it's convenient. But yeah, that was bad. I did not care about James.
He just wasn't that good of a character.
No, he wasn't. He was just kind of like the love interest guy. A softie, but he has a motorcycle tough shell on the outside.
But he's a softie at all times in the show.
Yeah. Yeah. He's
like 100% of the time.
He's supposed to be this rough and tumble guy with a soft interior, but he's just always the softie. So yeah. But do you want to talk about the ending? I know we just experienced it, but
maybe we could talk about it.
We can talk about the ending. Because honestly, I don't know how you end a show like this. It's kind of crazy that David Lynch has the gumption
Yeah.
Especially,
Some nerd.
especially since the movie that comes out a year before does not resolve any of that, and it's a prequel.
Yeah.
So that's pretty ballsy. But I guess you know, I think David Lynch is a pretty ballsy dude, and I don't think he really cares
I
about
thought it worked.
anybody.
There was no way to wrap all of it up in that 45 minutes, and I don't think he ever intended to.
No. I mean, we'll see. I know Fire Walk with Me, the prequel movie, is, I'm pretty sure, directed by David Lynch and then written by David Lynch and Mark Frost. So that's,
Okay.
it's probably going to be weird. It's going to go off the rails in the third act because
Good.
I've gotten used to his shenanigans by now. I know what's going to happen. So we'll have that to look forward to. But yeah, Pete is dead. Audrey is dead.
Supposedly, he could live.
I think it's pretty safe to say.
I'm just in denial.
I wish I could be in denial, but I'm past the denial. I'm in angry phase.
I'm in anger mode.
David Lynch, you are a coward. Why would you kill him like
Why
that?
would you kill Pete? Pete was the kindest soul.
Yeah. Although I don't think he would have been in the return anyways because, I mean,
Yeah.
I'm you know,
I think most people retire by that point.
either retired or dead.
Yeah.
But as I understand it, most of the cast comes back for the return. That being said, I looked up Fire Walk with Me earlier today to see what it was on and see the runtime. I kind of forgot about that when I saw that they replaced Donna in this movie. Donna's not played by the same actress.
Okay.
There was a Google suggested question that said, why was Donna not there? And it said there was scheduling conflicts. And then one of the suggested questions after that was like, why is this actress racist? The chick that played Donna. And I'm like, oh, okay. That's probably it. So I don't know why someone asks why they're racist. Like, let's get to the heart of this. Like, what went wrong with your childhood? Like, we need to get to the root. But I don't see David Lynch as a particularly, chill guy when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah.
He's an artist, so I imagine he probably just was like, scheduling conflicts, am I right?
Am I right?
So I don't know. I don't know if she comes back for the return. I would not be surprised if she was also gone from that.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. But I think another thing that I was not a big fan of at the show, I know I just went on a long tangent, but I think it kind of took too long to find its footing again after the Laura Palmer arc. They had to establish a lot, I know. There was a lot of stuff with Norma, not Norma, Eye Patch Lady. I don't remember her name. Nadine. More like Nadine's nuts, as I always say.
Got him.
There was a lot of stuff with that because I'm pretty sure that the end of the Laura Palmer arc was when she took a tumble, or Hank was. I don't remember. You have to. The first season was 8 episodes, and we were able to finish that in like a little over a week. And this one was 22, and we watched it all over the course of a month. So it's not going to be as concise as our part 1 review is going to be. But it just felt like that they were kind of like going through the motions, and I don't know exactly what the production schedule was like for this show. I know it was typical at the time for kind of like doing the South Park model where they write, film, and edit it in a week. I doubt that's what they did here just because everything is so, technical. I think that would have been common for multicam sitcoms, nothing like this. So I don't know exactly what it was like, but in those two or three episodes after Leland is confirmed to have killed Laura Palmer, uh, it's like they were establishing some stuff. It felt like they were just like walking, like not really knowing what they were doing, dragging their knuckles around, and then, you know, Wyndham Merle kind of shows up and kind of gets that fire, gets that drive that they were kind of missing for me, where there was an end goal. Like, we got to stop this guy. Just kind of felt like they were lollygagging around because, oh no, Harry Truman is sad. Except he isn't, like an episode later, and he's completely fine. But he's sad for one episode. And then we never find out why Josie is a cabinet. One of my most serious questions. Why is Josie a cabinet?
Why is Josie a cabinet? I'm sure that'll be explained 25 years later.
I'm sure. Now, I've heard from people who have seen The Return that it goes off the rails. Not in a good way, not in like a Lynchian way, but like the story like stops making sense and it starts betraying characters stuff, which I'm not a big fan of, but we'll probably watch it. But we are going to take a break in between.
Yeah, we'll see.
We're going to watch Over the Garden Wall. We got to fit that in before it becomes too cold outside and it won't feel like prime time over the garden
Perfect
wall.
time for it right now.
Yeah. So we're going to take a break. We've already talked about it, right?
Sure, we talked about it last year.
We can give our updated thoughts because
Okay.
you're going to be noticing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, probably.
It's even though you saw it a year ago, I feel like it's very memorable and like
yeah. I mean, it's only 10 episodes, so
it's only 10 episodes, right? So, yeah, I remember when I saw it for the second time last year, I was noticing a whole lot of stuff, and my enjoyment of the show went up a lot, which was surprising because it's probably one of the best animated shows ever, which I feel like I have a lot of S-tier animated shows, but that's just because there's so many great ones.
S-tier. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it would fit in there.
It's really solid, and it certainly isn't hurt by the fact that it's only 10 episodes. It had what it wanted to say, and it told it perfectly. And Patrick McHale is a good boy, except I heard his Pinocchio movie with Guillermo del Toro was not very good. So that's unfortunate. But that's probably Guillermo del Toro's fault, because he's a bad director, right?
He sucks.
He's the worst. Pan's Labyrinth, snooze fest. Shape of Water, yuck.
Yuck.
I haven't seen that one. I don't really know if I want to, though. I know what it's about, and I think I'm good.
Yeah, I'll stick with Pan's Labyrinth.
Yeah. I don't know what else. I'm sure he's made something else that I've seen. He was in Always Sunny.
True.
Yeah. He played Royal McPoyle, the patriarch of the McPoyle family.
Yes.
With the bird in his hat. Spoiler alert for Always Sunny, I suppose. Even though I don't... Yeah, I guess you can spoil a sitcom, whatever. But enough about that. We'll talk more about Twin Peaks over like a month from now, probably. It's another 18 episodes in a film. So, we're still in this. I sure hope that Dale Cooper is not an angry man in The Return.
I don't know.
If I have to see Kyle MacLachlan laugh maniacally again, I think I'm going to weep.
Going to lose it.
Yeah. But let's talk about audio.
Yep.
Is that not what it is?
I guess it is. It's just a weird way to put it, I guess. Kind of slow week, but very weird week, I guess. League of Legends had a song for their new animated show,
Oh, yeah.
which is already a weird sentence, but then when you realize it's an Imagine Dragons song featuring Jid.
Yeah, I saw that.
I didn't know what to do with that.
Was it good?
I mean, Jid's part was good. It just sounded like every other Imagine Dragons song.
Yeah.
So just kind of like there, not offensive, just kind of chilling. But Jid probably went way too hard than he needed to. But I guess Riot was giving him that League of Legends check.
Yeah.
But that was cool,
surprised
I
to
guess.
see that on the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. That wasn't bad. Apparently, people have been saying that the other ones that they've done are better. So apparently, they've done this multiple times
Oh, okay.
for like Worlds and stuff. Because Worlds is like they go hard for Worlds. That's all I'm gonna say. They have like musical intros and concerts and like light shows and stuff for Worlds. So
Oh.
they got the production value,
Okay. Well,
which is good. Riot's really good at handling all that stuff.
yeah.
But very interesting. Amine is, I don't know if I want to say back, but he dropped a song, Charmander. It's fantastic. It's like hyper pop rap, kind of, but like listenable.
Oh, okay.
It's listenable hyper pop. Not
Listenable.
crazy. It's very tame hyper pop, but there's definitely like an influence there.
Okay.
Short, sweet, love it, catchy. I think his album was last year, so I don't know. He's probably chilling for a little bit longer.
Yeah.
I don't need it. He can chill until next year. I'm fine for this year. What else we got? Snail Mail. New album's out next Friday, actually, I think.
Oh.
Indie rock outfit, I believe. They have their album Lush from 2018 that has been staring me in the face for, I think, years now, actually, and I have not listened to it yet. So I need to listen to that. I'm going to actually heart it on my Spotify right now so I can listen to it this week. But new song, Madonna, pretty cool. Just your typical kind of indie rock, indie, I don't want to say folk, but just softer indie stuff, which is comfort food for me. So
Yeah.
but I mess with it. Adding to the weird week, Netflix has a new show with a new soundtrack. The Harder They Fall, I think, is what the show is called.
That is an HBO Max film.
Oh, okay.
That is, I believe I talked about this when the first trailer dropped. It is I believe, all black Western starring Regina
Correct.
King and Lakeith Stanfield.
It is
And
in
Idris Elba, right?
partnership with Netflix. So
I thought it was HBO.
I don't think so.
Oh, well, I could be wrong.
Which would make sense because Netflix goes out for soundtracks.
Yes, it is
A lot.
Netflix. And it has an 87%.
That's good.
Oh, good job.
I'm very interested in it just because, I love Lakeith Stanfield. So,
Oh, of course.
and Westerns are great.
Me
So,
too.
Might be a watch right there.
Sure.
But they got Jay-Z to play heavily into this soundtrack. He's only on 2 songs, but it sounds like he had a hand in arranging and stuff.
Mhm.
But all black soundtrack as well.
Oh, okay.
But got a song with Kid Cudi and Jay-Z, which is an absolute slapper. That's a weird combo for those two, but it's fantastic. There's a CeeLo song that's really good.
Yo,
'Cause it's
CeeLo
CeeLo.
Green.
Yeah.
I love CeeLo Green.
There's a Lauryn Hill feature on one of the songs, which was cool.
Always nice to see.
She's been doing more features, which is good.
It means she's coming
Her
back,
second
right?
this year. No,
What?
never coming back. Never getting a solo album from her again. It's over.
You don't think we're going to get the college dropout of Lauryn Hill?
Nope.
Wow.
Never happening.
I think it's going to happen right now. I'm calling it that it is going to drop on October 31st, 2022.
I'm calling it that she's never making another album. Ever.
Well, we'll see who's going to be right then.
Ever. I guess I didn't listen to the whole album. I just listened to the songs that looked interesting. But there's a song with Jay-Z, Jadakiss, and Conway the Machine.
Yeah, I saw that one on. I knew you were gonna be
Just
into that one.
stacked. Not as good as the Kid Cudi Jay-Z one,
Okay.
but still really weird hearing those three together. But I mean, I would have liked it better if it wasn't on a soundtrack one because it looked like they were sticking to a theme
Yeah.
instead of just making a song that bangs, which is what the Kid Cudi and Jay-Z song is. But I don't know. I need more Jay-Z with Griselda people, and Jadakiss is always great.
Does Jay Z do a lot of music stuff nowadays?
He pokes his head around.
Okay.
Um, I don't think he'll make another album for a while
Yeah.
or ever. Who knows? But I think it's very likely that we get another one eventually. I just don't know when. It could be in 2 years, 5 years, 10 years.
Yeah.
I think he just kind of does stuff when he feels like it. Which, when you're that loaded, I guess that's how you go about life.
Unless you're Kanye West,
Unless you're Kanye.
and then you
Yeah.
make a big house. That's what I
Yeah.
got out of the whole Donda thing, is that Kanye turned into a carpenter.
He turned into a house.
Yeah.
That's it, I think.
That's it?
That's it. The only albums that came out,
Kendrick dropped, right?
Kendrick dropped, I guess.
What do you mean you guess?
Cyrus had an album that came out. Independent indie rap artist. Saw him on tour last year. That seems like 7 years ago. That's crazy.
That was last year.
Last year. Yeah, that was last year. That was in February of last year, so it was literally 2 weeks before the world shut down. That's why it felt like it was forever ago.
Yeah.
But yeah, saw him in concert. Met the whole label. Really cool guys. Album came out. It's basically just every single single from past 2 years, which is what his concept was. Because as an independent artist, you get more streams if you just put out singles instead of an album.
Yeah.
Keeps people waiting more. But basically compiled all of those. I don't want to say compiled. It was meant to come out like this, but he dropped singles periodically, and then there's a couple new songs in here. But this was kind of like the summer jam in 2019. I don't remember what I was listening to in the summer of last year, but it probably wasn't this. Although the summer of last year wasn't even summer. I was just stuck inside. So
Yeah.
but very like nostalgic actually, just because like it's weird because the album's brand new, but the songs are really old. But also a lot of them bang. So again, pretty solid pop rap. It's an hour and 14 minutes, which is kind of nuts. I guess that is everything he did for the past 2 years.
Yeah.
But flows pretty well. Kind of what I would expect sequencing wise. Pretty good. Production's very sunny and poppy and cool. Don't think I like it as much as his debut, but that's always just going to be like a cult classic within that small area of underground rap. So, but pretty sick. Good to see it come out. I would like a physical release, but I don't know if that's even possible.
Why not?
Because I know vinyl pressing is expensive.
Oh.
But
yeah.
that's it.
That's it.
That's it. Well, I guess I can talk. JPEG Mafia squashed the beef with Arm & Hammer. That happened this week.
I saw that. Yeah.
Very good. I'm glad. I felt like I wasn't really Billy Woods, but Elucid and Peggy are too smart to just be going over petty stuff like this. So glad that's handled. Now make music together.
Yeah, kiss and make up.
Yeah. If you can get Alchemist to make a whole record for you guys, you need Peggy to produce for you guys.
That's true.
So that would probably be like the best thing that's ever come out ever. So
It would probably be up there, yeah.
yeah, I can only imagine Peggy giving them a palette and then having those two figure out something to go along with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need that. But we'll see. I don't know. The one production song that Peggy has with them is absolute, like one of their best. So I could only imagine. But I don't know. We have Silk Sonic. We have, I guess, Snail Mail I'll have next week. But kind of a slower fading out point, which is fine.
Yeah.
I am so stacked on music. I haven't even been listening to stuff as much because it's just been like overstimulation.
Yeah.
And that makes our show more enjoyable when we get to sit down and listen to things, because I'm not constantly listening to music. Kind of just record, hear an album I haven't heard or one I haven't heard in a while. It's more enjoyable. But trying to brainstorm what we're going to do for the end of the year list. I would like to include everybody, but I don't know how. Since I have 50 to talk about, and I'm not sure if you guys would have 5 or 10. And I don't know how to format that, because I don't want to make a solo video, because I'd like to have everybody from the channel present. But
Yeah, I have not
I'm gonna
been
brainstorm.
keeping track. Or,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't know if I've even listened to 10 albums.
You've listened to 5. I don't know if
5?
you've listened to 10.
Lucy.
Keep in mind, Silk Sonic will be out by the
Yeah.
end of the year. You got Lucy, Black
Lucy.
Country, New Road. You
Yeah.
got, I have to look through. There's a lot.
Frick. Let me just look through Winning, but I don't think that's even gonna. No. Yeah, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, traditionally for the podcast, we do. I'll do like movies, and Paul will do flags, and then you will do music stuff, and that seems to work very well.
Yes.
Just because I don't listen to a whole lot of new music. I could pull a donkey and then do like my top 10 albums of this year, and then like some of them are just stuff that I've found this year.
That, or we could I'll have my top 50 of 2021, and then we'll do a separate video of like a tier list of what we've reacted to on the channel for this year.
Oh,
or something.
Or like top 10 albums that we've listened to for the channel.
Yeah, or something.
Something.
We'll think of something, because I'd like to have a year-end thing that involves all of us.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
I don't want to just like take it and be like, here's my top 50. Bye. You want to know what cherries are? I don't know.
We'll think of something.
Yeah.
We'll do some
that, or I'll do the top
brainstorming.
50 video, and then I'll have you like record a little like however many minute rundown of what your favorites were or something, and I'll plop it in there.
I could do that.
Just
I
to
could
have
do
it
a funny
more
bit
inclusive.
thing.
Yeah,
I
could be
do
fun.
like doing fun video bits.
it's true.
Yeah. We don't get to do a whole lot of fun editing stuff with our
No,
videos. It's all about that fast turnaround. We're trying to
it really
crunch
is. It's a very
deadlines.
chaotic workplace.
Right.
The demand is off the roof. It's crazy.
It's just we're getting bombarded with comments and
Yeah.
comments on our message board and all this
So
crazy
much money
stuff.
donated to us.
Right.
So many sponsorship deals falling through because they're from unethical companies.
Yeah, I will not support HelloFresh.
I will not support honey. I hate
It's
honey.
a very unethical company.
It's a very unethical company using the exploitation of an endangered species to
Online
brand your
storekeepers.
product.
Oh. Yeah.
I take all that back, honey. If you want to sponsor us, my DMs are open. But
I always knew you were a capitalist.
I do use
shill.
honey personally.
I do
I
too.
do use honey.
I do too.
But we'll think of some. I
We
liked
got
my year-end
time.
videos from last year, so I'm hoping to do the same kind of thing for this year.
Okay. We'll get to work.
We'll
I know we
brainstorm
have
it.
some. We do have some other like video type idea stuff we got for certain milestones, I guess, of stuff that's
Correct.
coming up. One of them you'll have to be 21 or older to watch, I guess.
You have to be 21 or older to watch.
Yeah. It's not safe for fun.
Not safe for non-alcohol consuming individuals.
That's right. Any alcoholics watching our content, you better leave.
Okay.
What, that too
But-
much?
Maybe. I don't know. Whatever. That's all I have.
Okay. I don't have anything either. I would just like to say that Dale Cooper is a DILF.
Absolutely.
Yes. And I can't wait to
That man is so charming and charismatic.
Yes.
What a character.
If I ever knocked on his door and he was like, Jerry Ginkleton, you have almost impeccable timing. I think I would cream my pants.
It's over.
It's over. So, of course, his hotel room is 213-3.